Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of Discount Storytime. Previously.
Now, this evening, you are having dinner with me and my fiancee, Chip, and we're going to come up with a plan to get you sorted.
Wendell was about to decline, not wanting to intrude, but Lucy said,
I wasn't asking. I'm your chief resident. That's an order.
Lucy went to a phone and called Chip to tell him they would be having a guest for dinner and probably stay the night. Then Lucy and Wendell headed out of the hospital into the muggy evening. Wendell thanked her and felt the weight of the world, well, at least the weight of Pariah 7. Well, maybe this part of Pariah 7 ease off his shoulders. At least a little bit. At least for now. Lucy walked Wendell to her small apartment above a Sam Goody record store. The apartment wasn't much. There was a worn sofa and a worn armchair, both covered with knitted blankets, a coffee table, and a desk littered with textbooks and notes. A small radio was playing in the background. Their apartment had wooden paneling and leafy designs on the furniture, which gave the feel of being in a forest. Beaded doorway curtains led off to the bedroom and kitchen. Pictures sat on the floor instead of on the walls. Out of the kitchen came a fox-like figure wearing faded jeans and a black Misfits t-shirt. He had the same fur markings as Lucy, but was slightly taller and wore thick square glasses. "Oh, hi, I'm Chip. Nice to meet you." He wiped his furry hands off on a dish towel and shook hands with Wendell. "I hope you're hungry. I made plenty," Chip said, then gave Lucy a quick kiss and turned back to the small kitchen.
We've been here over a year now and still haven't gotten around to decorating,
Lucy said apologetically.
It's a bit disorganized.
I like it. It's cozy and warm. Are you going to stay after you finish this year?
No, we're going back home. I've got a job lined up, and then it's Chip's turn to study all day and night.
She called the last part into the kitchen with a playful blink. I can't wait, Chip called back. Is he studying medicine also?
Oh, no, he faints putting on a Band-Aid. He's a mathematician studying phrase, field, something or other.
Phase field theory, Chip corrected from the kitchen.
Math stuff,
Lucy said with a shiver and plopped down on the sofa. Wendell sat down on the armchair, or rather fell backwards into it.
Here, when I told Chip your situation, he ran to the market and picked up some things.
She pointed to a paper sack on the coffee table. It contained a toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, a hairbrush, and deodorant. On the coffee table were also some clean folded clothes. I hope they fit, Chip called out. I took a guess since Lucy said we were about the same size. They're a bit used, but they're clean. Wendell called back, Thank you very much.
Lucy said, You are welcome, and you're staying here tonight.
Now, before Wendell could protest, she said,
Because you have nowhere else to stay, and if you show up late again tomorrow, who knows what Dr. Mentor will do.
Her eyes flashed, and Wendell accepted the offer. Chip brought out dinner. Wendell had not seen many of the foods before, but hunger is the best sauce. They had a garden salad, some sort of mashed green root which tasted a bit like sweet onion, and what seemed to be baked fish. It was the first non-threatening, if even tasty meal Wendell had since Earth. And at the end, Chip made everyone a sanka, and they drank coffee and ate fruit pudding. Chip was clearing the table and asked, So you didn't bring anything? No stuff at all?
Lucy said, He didn't get a chance to. He was in the middle of proposing, of all things. Oh, how awful.
So you dodged a bullet then? Chip asked while dodging a swipe from Lucy. Wendell laughed and then thought of his fiancée, Gail. He saw how Lucy and Chip were, and this made the emptiness in his heart swell. This was the first time Wendell noticed the modest engagement ring on Lucy's left hand. She said,
"It'll be okay. I believe if two people are meant to be together, then nothing, not even the galaxy, can stop it."
Chip came back to the table and brought a newspaper. "I went through and looked for apartments for you to check out. I circled some that seemed reasonable." He pushed the newspaper over to Wendell.
"Thanks. I can just put them in my..."
He reached for his non-existent
phone.
Chip looked at him and smirked.
"You have a phone in your pocket?"
"Sure, and I don't even want to know where you store the phone cable." He snorted and pushed his thick glasses up his fox snout.
"No, really, on Earth we have cell phones. They have no wires and they take information from satellites in space. They're actually powerful mini-computers."
Chip's ears perked up at the technology talk.
"Well, that sounds fantastic. How do they work?"
After a long pause, Chip and Lucy each raised suspicious eyebrows.
"I just use it for texting. Text messaging. You see, you can send a message to other people by text, and that way it reaches them right away. And then you don't have to call them and talk. You just type."
"So it's not a phone?" asked Chip.
"No, it's still a phone. You can talk to other people. We don't."
"So instead of talking to each other, you read words on a screen all day?"
"Well, yeah, but it's not just words. We can express emotion by using a little smiley or little frowny faces, so there's that. I'd show you, but my phone got left on Earth."
At that, Wendell's brow furrowed. They visited into the evening. Then Lucy made the couch up for Wendell. Everyone said good night, and Wendell lay down on the couch. He felt full and relaxed for the first time since Earth. Sleep overcame him almost instantly. And now a word from this week's sponsor, Dander Dental.
Hi there, this is Abley Gremmel. I'm not only an award-winning actor, but I also have teeth. So does my family. And for the ones I love most, I only use Dander Dental toothpaste. The only toothpaste made with 60% all-organic blend of corn silk and RD7, a special form of rodent dander. Why, my kids love using it.
Daddy, I can taste the clumps. Smells like zoo.
That's Dander Dental, available wherever you buy dental care products.
And now back to the show. The next morning, Wendell awoke after the most restful sleep he had had in a while. He took a quick shower and felt like a new man. He was amazed at how much you miss such things as a hot shower when they're gone. The deodorant Chip had bought him had a strong, musky smell to it, but it was pleasant enough. Next, Wendell went to brush his teeth and looked at the toothpaste tube. The label said it was made with 60% organic RD7. He wondered if RD7 was similar to fluoride. The tube felt heavier than a toothpaste tube on Earth, and instead of smooth, paste he was used to, this stuff came out in spurts and clumps. The second he put the toothpaste into his mouth, his eyes watered. Streaks of chewy hair and what felt like corn silk, very sticky, rancid corn silk, attacked his teeth. And the smell, it wasn't minty or refreshing. To him, the toothpaste smelled like spilled milk in the back of a car on a hot summer day. Wendell tried spitting out the unholy concoction, but the glop clutched to his teeth like superglue. When he came out to the living room, Lucy was sitting at the table eating breakfast. She had made them mixed fruit, a blue yogurt, toast, and Sanka.
Chip doesn't do mornings,
she said. As if on cue, a loud snore came from the bedroom. Lucy's nose bobbled as she giggled.
What does he do while you're at work? He manages the record store downstairs. It doesn't pay much, but they threw in the apartment, so it balances out. And he's finishing up his degree with a few interplanetary correspondence classes. He really is quite brilliant, but please don't tell him I said that. I have to live with his ego the size it is already.
Correspondence classes, so it's an online course?
What's an online?
Oh, on Earth we have our phones and computers and tablets all hooked up to each other. It's called the Internet. You can take classes and even get degrees that way.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. How does this Internet work?
Wendell said, then took a bite of his toast. Lucy patted his hand kindly.
You don't have to keep telling stories to impress others. I'm sure Earth is lovely.
After breakfast, they headed off to the hospital. The day was dedicated to the new residents taking a required intake exam to assess their knowledge and the areas that they needed focusing on. Lucy dropped Wendell off at a small classroom that separated the cafeteria and the morgue. There were his fellow residents, Kermit the Frogling, Cent the bespectacled meerkat, and Gappy the Gappy. Dr. Philip Minter was at the front of the classroom, along with a large octopus-like creature in a small, it was like a little plastic kid pool. Dr. Minter said,
"Well, Glick, it looks like you made it here on time for once."
Wendell was about to smile when Dr. Minter continued,
"But you were still the last one in the room. Typical laziness. Regardless, today will be your intake exam. This is very important, and I want you to take it seriously. Your dedication to the level of testing today will determine your success in future medical licensure."
With that, Dr. Minter held out his hand behind him, and the octopus creature tossed a coin in.
"Today's intake exam will be proctored by Mrs. Ollie Unter, and I will leave you in her capable hands."
With that, he wriggled his fingers of his hand behind him. Mrs. Unter did not reply. Dr. Minter coughed and then said,
"I leave you in Mrs. Ollie Unter's many capable and gracious hands."
At that, the octopus flipped another coin into Dr. Minter's hand. He forced his face into a smile and left the room. There was a silence in the room while Mrs. Unter pulled out a 6x3 black plastic box from her purse. She then turned to Kermit and asked,
Can you please help me with this, dear?
Kermit rolled a large and heavy-looking TV cart to the front next to Mrs. Unter. He plugged everything in and then sat back down. Wendell pointed to the black box Mrs. Unter was holding. "What is that?" Cent answered, "The latest in video technology. It's called Betamax. Do you have that on Earth? No, I've never seen one before. It must be really new, Wendell said, impressed. Mrs. Unter called out,
Quiet down, please. Before we start your examination, you have to choose what level exam you will be taking. This is very important. This, as Dr. Mentor stated, will have repercussions on your medical licensure. Please pay attention.
With one of her tentacles, she loaded the Betamax tape into a large silver contraption with a blinking 1200 on it and hit the play button. A blue screen appeared, then the following played. A green walrus-type figure appeared on the screen wearing a suit and lab coat.
Welcome, young doctors. Congratulations on making it this far into your training journey. And still alive, too. Now, the choice, perhaps one of the most important choices in your education, is before you. Which level of licensure, or LOL, can you afford? Or another way to think of it, which level of licensure, or LOL, can you not afford to miss out on? For those who are serious about their medical licensure, we offer the Platinum Level Exam. Rest assured, a Platinum medical license will open all the right doors. Next, we have Gold Level. On some planets, gold is considered precious. Out here, a gold medical license says, sure, I can't afford the platinum level license, but I still have some shred of dignity. Then, for those of you on a budget, we offer the bronze level medical license. What can I say? It's bronze. Each level is tied to testing difficulty, so you can either pay more or learn more. And what future doctor wants to waste time learning more? Whatever level of licensure, or LOL, you choose, remember, you can always upgrade later, if you have the coin. Upgrade is the cost of your current level exam fee, plus the upgrade level exam fee, plus a 45% upgrade fee. Choose wisely, choose now, and good luck.
The video turned to static and then turned off. Mrs. Unter turned to the group.
Very good. So who wants to pay first?
Sint raised his skinny little meerkat arm and was brought to the front.
And how will you be paying?
Sint held up what appeared to be nothing and said,
I have my father's Invisicard.
Gappy and Kermit gave out a whoa. That card is so exclusive you can't even see it or feel it. Mrs. Unter took what appeared to be thin air and put it on a flat metal block.
And which level?
Platinum.
Of course, sir.
She ran a roller over the card and signed the receipt.
Congratulations on passing your platinum licensure exam, Doctor.
Sint smiled, said,
Bye, suckers,
to the group and swaggered out. Wendell muttered,
What the? Next!
Kermit muttered,
Lucky
I've been saving every coin I can and still can only get a bronze intake licensure exam. He went up to the front. Gappy also purchased a bronze level. They were both given thick paper testing booklets and pencils. Then everyone stared at Wendell for what seemed like an eternity.
You see...
Which intake exam are you purchasing today, Dr. Glick?
I can't. I have no money.
The thickness of his words held in the air.
What do you mean you have no money? This is not a charity, you know?
I was on Earth and...
You have no money, but you are here.
Mrs. Unter rolled her eyes and sighed.
Well, unfortunately, we are still required to offer licensure testing to everyone who is technically qualified to sit for an exam.
Okay, so I get
You get the dust level exam.
dust level?
Gappy whispered.
I thought that was a myth. No, it is real. Thankfully uncommon, but real. We have had residents try to take it in the past. May they rest in peace.
They died?
No, not physically. No, but they did go quite mad. If you are certain you don't want to pay for a licensure intake exam, I suppose.
Kermit and Gappy both offered to lend Wendell enough money for a down payment on a bronze exam, but he refused. Wendell had his pride. Mrs. Unter pulled a large dusty tome out and, keeping it as far from her octopus body as possible, handed it over to Wendell. The book was much heavier than it would appear at first, and upon touching the thing, Wendell felt a heaviness come over him, like someone had draped a wet blanket over his soul.
Try not to stare directly at the pages, dear,
Mrs. Unter said, almost tearful. The test began. There was a scratching of pencils on Scantron papers, which Wendell remembered from a long time ago in middle school. After 4 hours, Gappy finished her exam and turned it in. After 6 hours, Kermit finished his exam and turned it in. It was now in the middle of the afternoon, and Wendell's stomach growled.
Excuse me, Mrs. Unter, do we get a lunch break?
All platinum, gold, and bronze level test takers get a lunch break.
Oh, good. When can I?
All platinum, gold, and bronze level test takers get a lunch break. Are you a platinum, gold, or bronze level test taker?
No,
You are?
I'm dirt.
Right, you are dirt. Dirt does not get a lunch break. Carry on.
Finally, 14 hours after starting, Wendell finished his intake examination. It was definitely grueling. The pages did have some sort of draining, hypnotic power over him, and the test questions had many species and organs and diseases he had never heard of before, much less studied how to treat. But a lot of the concepts of medical practice were similar to what he had learned in medical school on Earth. He took the large tome and Scantron to the front.
Here you go. Thank you for proctoring the test today.
Mrs. Unter stared at him with wide eyes.
Wait, you are still able to walk? You aren't drooling or mumbling? This test, it breaks you. It tortures your mind.
Wendell looked her in the eyes and confidently says,
Well, I went to public schools,
and casually turned to leave. He would have been really, really cool if he hadn't tripped over a desk on the way out. But all in all, after all that's happened, finally, score one for our hero Wendell. A discount story time, discount idea. When writing a story, punctuation is key. I like to start with all the punctuation first. About every 2 lines, I'll place a period, occasionally a question mark, and sometimes an exclamation mark. Then I fill in random commas and quotation marks, and once the punctuation is in, I start filling in words. But those are less important. Thank you for listening. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, please send it to someone. We don't have anything in our discount mailbag for this week, but if you do want to write in, easiest way is my email address at mail@discountstorytime.com, or you can click on the link in the show notes. As well, you can follow me on the socials, mostly Blue Sky at this point. And until next week, play nice with others, be super duper kind to yourself, and as always, remember to laugh. Bye.